I'm going to see, and it's sold out, Billy Bragg at the Brooklyn Library next week as he in a conversation with Amy Goodman.
Lucky you.
I am lucky. Brendan got me a ticket right before it sold out, I think. And we had Billy Bragg on the show the other day, as you know. And in his pamphlet, he mentions Eric Weinstein, who is one of these people. He works for Peter Thiel, and then he has his own now podcast. He is one of the IDW guys. Supposedly he coined this phrase that despite the fact that he's obviously got a pretty decent position in society with Peter Thiel, and that he has access to all of these IDW platforms, that they feel like they are somehow in the dark web. Now, the dark web, as you know, is where a lot of like Nazis hang out, and neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and also, I would imagine, people who are doing illicit things.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget about the drug deals.
Right, and a lot of drug deals. But the idea is that they're not allowed to have that because of their ideas, because of their ideas, that they are not allowed to have a public forum. They have to have a secret forum, almost like if you were, let's say, practicing religion in certain societies, or you wanted to hide the fact that you were celebrating Shabbat under Nazi occupation, and you had to do it in the dark, and you had to do it secretly in secret
they're
tunnels.
So quiet and secretive about their opinions.
Right. As opposed to, let's say, being able to go on to a show that has a couple of million views, or being able to get a book deal, or being able to tour, or being sponsored by, I don't know, Turning Points USA, or, I mean, on and on and on. And so Billy Bragg and Weinstein had this exchange where, and I don't know how this initiated.
I'll look that up now.
It's a little bit weird, right? I mean, I can't quite tell how Weinstein has, but I don't know if Billy Bragg initiated it or not. But so Eric Weinstein said, so I'm not welcome in front of your audience on your upcoming dates to discuss this or show some solidarity and any coming together, right? Billy Bragg wants to pull people apart. And Billy said, no, thanks. I'm interested in how you square your statement about refusing to engage with certain arguments that you don't consider intellectually rigorous with the IDW's supposed commitment to free speech. This is the point that got you all fired up. Can you address it? And so here's how Eric addresses it. Of course, because of his openness to debate and the importance and the esteem in which he holds the exchange of ideas. So I was open to exposing protest singer and cultural icon Billy Bragg and his claims against me to my audience. I was willing in exchange to go on to his stage where he has home court advantage. I don't know what that means, but it's a real shame that Eric perceives this as some type of game where one would have home court advantage.
Can you imagine bringing him up on stage in the middle of a performance?
Well,
I'm sorry, I know
it's just so unfortunate,
bad entertainment
that you need
there.
to look at it like that, as opposed to just simply a platform. And I'm sorry, go back to the other one. To show his audience that he was straw manning me. It was not to be. Door still open. Now, I find this to be fascinating, because if this is really about ideas, certainly, I think people who watch this show and know that I've been doing this for 10 years in this iteration and been doing this for 15 years, and I think I've been quite explicit about a whole range of ideas. I made a similar proposition to Eric Weinstein some time ago when he, and I should say that his never, I never brought him up in any context, as far as I know. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. But he went on to make an accusation about what I was engaged in on Joe Rogan's show with a huge following, of course. Here it is.
I think that there's a very strange thing going on, not with Dave Rubin, but with the crowd of people that is just trying to eat Dave Rubin and blind him and confuse him. And there's this guy, Sam Seder, who...
Do you think he's a Russian?
I hope he is. Well, I don't know. I don't think he's Russian, but I do think that I think he has a grassroots following. I don't think this is inauthentic. That just loves to harass. Well, dunk, drag. I hate this language. I just can't.
Dunking. I like the word dunking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fun.
No, I'm not a fan.
No,
because it cheapens all conversation. Oh, you got dunked on. You got dragged.
You're home court advantaged.
This is that thing in third grade that
I think Eric never has home court
Well, they
advantage.
found out that he won't engage with them, and so they think it's cute to just constantly shit on him, and they also think it's cute to take anything that he says and interpret it in the worst possible way possible, and not think of it as him just being a guy who's trying to talk about things on the fly.
Right.
And maybe isn't even prepared about the subject at hand. Like one of the things that comes up on this show.
Tough defense.
Like, we were talking before we were going to go on there. What are we going to talk about? I'm like, come on, let's just talk.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, come on, let's just talk thing.
Yeah.
You never know what the fuck is going to come up. And you might have a piss poorly formed idea of what a subject is, and you just start rambling.
Yeah, well, that's what I've done in my two previous
Well, no, you have not, but it seems, it's easy to think that you did that. But with Dave, there's enough moments where he's misstepped where they just feel like, okay, we got a wounded antelope.
Yeah. They're trying to pick him off. And, I think there was probably a move to do Shapiro, and there was a period where you were seemingly
Now, I just want to address, first off, look, I understand maybe you don't realize you're going to be talking about Jesus on any given day, but if you don't have the basic understanding to know that Jesus and Muslims were not contemporaneous, then maybe you should really, really do your best to stay away from anything remotely close to talking about that. I guess you could say, look, I didn't realize that we were going to be talking about, I don't know, the planets. So I messed up in knowing that the sun was not inhabited. There's some baselines here, but I don't know why Eric Weinstein felt it was necessary to bring up my name in the context of people who have a problem with Dave Rubin. I don't know what it means to blind somebody with criticism on Twitter. But
he is correct that we want to eat Dave Rubin, though.
Here is Eric Weinstein. Apparently, he just learned by watching my show.
Or somebody snitched.
Yes, that's somebody snitched. And the fact is, I asked Eric to discuss publicly with me what was going on with Rubin. I invited him onto my show. I said I would go on to his show, but nothing. He doesn't want to engage. Now, I don't know if it's because he doesn't perceive that I have the proper size audience, or that in some way, but it's interesting to me the way that he decides whose criticism he will address and whose he won't. And that he feels it's okay to invoke my name on a platform that I don't have access to, and at least imply that somehow I am, using my followers to corral a wounded antelope.
With a permaswarm.
Or something. And allow Rogan to characterize it as something that I think is cute. I don't do this for cuteness. It's not why I do it. It's incredibly demeaning. Cute is the way you describe a little puppy or a little kitten or a little child. I'm not being cute here. I actually think that what these people are doing is incredibly dangerous. I think it creates a lot of societal ills very, very extreme societal ills. I think actually that in many respects, it provides support for some of the worst things that are happening in our society today. I don't think that's cute. And I am happy to discuss this more with Eric Weinstein. And if apparently it takes him a day or so to hear what we say on this program. Maybe he'll hear it now. Maybe you talk to me first, and then maybe Billy will see that you can actually have and engage with people with whom you disagree with. And maybe he will then respond more positively to your request. You're worried about not being welcome in front of Billy Bragg's audience? You're welcome in front of mine. There it is. So come on, let's discuss this. We can talk about Dave Rubin. We could talk about Ben Shapiro, whoever else you invoked in that segment with Joe Rogan. I'm happy to have this conversation. I look forward to it. And I am sure because of your intellectual rigor, you're an incredibly smart guy. I have no doubt. I've listened to you speak. I have no doubt that you're far more intelligent than I. But I still think that my ideas are worthy of engagement. So when you come on, you'll have the opportunity to make your case. I'll have the opportunity to make my case. So we'll see if you actually have the integrity of the principles you espouse. Because I have no doubt that you have the intellect. But the question is, you make these pronouncements about what's so important in our discourse, but you don't follow through. You only follow through when you think that maybe, I don't know why you would engage in this way when I've invited you, and you know what I'm about. You know it very well, and I know it that you know it very well. So we'll see.
You know what I'm about. What's up, Irv Gotti? Look at Sam's language changing. I love it.
I went on. I did a.
You know what I'm about.
I did a segment with Irv Gotti on Ari Melber's Fallback Friday, and we went deep into it.